Good morning. I am Amy and this is the Albert Park Lantern House. Here is a view looking out from the balcony of the original home on Beaconsfield Parade. An awful lot of movement can happen in the foreground with multiple lanes of traffic, people strolling, paddling and driving, and in the distance the precious slides of calm. There are moments of exquisite stillness at this intersection of urban and natural landscapes, especially in the mornings where the water is silky and the lights of the shipping lane blink. Other times, the wind rips across the bay and throws sand and foam over the road. The remaining Victorian terraces speak of a time of promenade before vehicles filled 5 lanes. Elegantly proportioned rooms face the bay. These front facades have been purposefully designed and composed. The site is in the middle of the row of 10. The rear of the site is defined by a bluestone laneway. Nearby, the 130-year-old Kerford Road Pier extends into Nam, Port Phillip Bay. The rear facade speaks of utility, getting light in and services out. Over time, the outbuildings merged with the main house, blocking north light and outdoor connections. Gardens were lost under concrete. This is our client Louise, and her brief was to open living spaces to the sheltered northerly aspect, away from the traffic and the prevailing wind. The concept is derived specifically from this place. This boundary wall had an accidental scattering of white bricks that shine luminous in the afternoon light. This was the starting point for the project. Conceptually, we looked at the changing light and texture that defined this landscape. The contrasting painted timber handrail to the pier reflects crisp white against stormy skies. We also looked to the billowing, weightless forms of cloudscapes, offset against a ruled horizon, the composition anchored by the sea wall. As is typical of Victorian houses, the original main rooms are infinitely flexible. The laundry to kitchen ratio, however, was all wrong. We decided that the house didn't need to get much bigger, and the modest budget was focused on alterations to resolve the plan's shortcoming. This project was an additional 27 square metres, which is shown in yellow, with alterations to 38 square metres. These plans show the new walls hatched. This layout consolidates and places the new kitchen and dining rooms where they can benefit from multi-directional light. Renovations of the main house are deferred until the interiors have reached the end of their serviceable life, concentrating the budget to achieve high quality materials and details that will endure. The boundary walls are wonky and the site is too narrow to straighten them, so the new walls were built askew and the misalignment disguised by carefully placed joinery and herringbone flooring. The existing first floor plan has a large living room overlooking the bay. The disconnection of this room from the kitchen is mitigated by the new ground floor seating area facing the garden without duplicating spaces. The addition is a single-storey, northeast facing pavilion inserted below the existing building. It enables dual orientations towards the bay and the laneway, suiting different spaces at different times. The form of the addition is respectful of neighbours and causes no overshadowing, lifting the volume high against the adjacent boundary, capturing precious sunlight and allowing the ceiling to billow and drift. This project has only one facade and it sits comfortably within the intricate landscape of brickwork. The focus of this project is the newly created space that spans boundary to boundary between the existing walls and reads as a continuation of the garden and an extension of the sky. The simplicity of the plan belies the complexity of the construction required to support the first floor masonry building below. Intricate needle propping was employed. Until the new beam was installed, the brickwork relied on a precarious self-corbelling effect to remain in place. Recycled brickworks were used with new bricks where crisp edges were required. Our process sees many decisions regarding texture and materiality finalised on site. The existing masonry walls were crumbling and inconsistent, and we worked with the brickie to determine just the right amount of mortar and bagging to hold it all together. We looked to the local area for new possibilities for details. We're interested in how a detail such as this nearby tuck-pointed brickwork changes over time. We decided to point some walls with only the horizontal joints proud and the vertical joints struck flush. This elongates shadows and is a contemporary development of the local detail. This addition appears to have been slid between the existing brick walls. Clarity of the insertion is made distinct inside and out by a crisp painted finish, luminous against the textured masonry landscape. Ornate heritage brickwork details are reimagined in the interior of the project. The ceiling is framed like a hull, with carefully shaped ribs from which to spring the plywood. Internally, the quality of light was evident as soon as the ceiling went in. Hoop pine plywood has acoustic benefit and creates a space free of plasterboard. Seamless curves and concealed doors require templates and patience to get them right. The joiner worked with us to develop a detail to laminate the plywood doors to achieve a curve without a subframe. Sourcing local products is always a good idea in terms of sustainability. These tiles were handmade in South Melbourne. A rigorous sample process achieved the specific tone and variation we wanted. Details we observe every day in the local area have been inverted and made deliberate to embed the addition in this context. The trapezoidal clerestory is the only part of the project visible from outside the property and offers a tantalising glimpse of the new insertion. The hand-painted ceiling has the sense of the underside of a windswept cloud or a sail held taut by the wind that rises to form the dynamic form of the lantern. A skylight enables active night purge. Internal finishes provide gallery-like tone and texture to highlight the art. Picture rails enable change and a pendant is made locally in Collingwood. Natural lighting highlights the texture of the walls and the sheen and fine brushstrokes of the hand-painted ceiling. A second small clerestory provides natural ventilation and ensures the deep-set kitchen receives natural balanced light from 3 sources. Ripples in the kitchen resolve intersections of discordant geometries. We worked closely with the contractor to resolve critical alignments. Quartzite was selected for its durability. There are subtle variations in the splashback and in the hand-painted plywood joinery. Avoiding factory applied finishes means that the joinery can be repaired. Ply wall linings continuous with the door face conceal and reveal the compact, well-lit bathroom which opens to the light courts. Screens are essential for night purge and natural ventilation. All new windows and doors are Bink, passive house rated and
1 minute.
The stained oak floor bleeds into the bluestone threshold and gives weight to the composition. The transparent linen curtain and tinder screen door filter natural light. 6mm mild steel painted shelves are built into the masonry to provide safe places for precious collections. The porch provides cover on entry and allows doors to be left open for ventilation in humid, rainy weather. The deep reveal provides sensible shade to the northern facade. A lot of thought was given to the mixture of ambient, directional and feature lighting, as well as the manual switching to enable flexibility to suit changing uses. A porch and the lit clerestory provide a sense of entry when arriving home from the lane. The clarity of this bright new insertion is distinct in the intricate brick landscape. This addition improves the home's layout and environmental performance whilst engaging the garden and bluestone lane beyond. The light that enters this space from multiple directions at various intensities paints the interior in soft yet complex light that belies the small scale of the intervention. Thank you for your time today.